Welcome to Bistory Media. We are going to be bringing you interesting videos on Nigeria, Africa and world history on this channel. Please stay tuned. Today, we will take a look at the history of Nigeria from about the 5th century to about the 19th century. Please stay with me. Nigeria arguably has more historic cultures and empires than any other nation in Africa. These cultures, empires or civilizations date back as far as the 5th century BC, when communities living around the southern slopes of the Jos Plateau made wonderfully expressive terracotta figures in a tradition known today as the Nook culture, a name coined from the Nigerian village where these sculptures were first unearthed. The Nook culture or Nook people are Neolithic tribes who acquired the iron technology that spread southwards through Africa. The Jos Plateau is in the center of Nigeria, but the first extensive kingdoms of the region, more than a millennium after the Nook people, are in the north and northeast, deriving their wealth from trading north through the Sahara and east into the Sudan. During the 9th century, a trading empire grows up around Lake Chad. Its original center was east of the lake in the Kanem region, but it soon extends to Borno on the western side. In the 11th century, the ruler of the Kanem-Borno Empire converted to Islam. West of Borno, along the northern frontier of Nigeria, is the land of the Hausa people, well placed to control trade with the forest regions of the south. The Hausa developed a number of small but stable kingdoms, each ruled from a strong walled city. They are often threatened by larger neighbors from Mali and Gao to the west and Borno to the east, but the Hausa traders benefit also from being on the route between these empires. By the 14th century, they too became Muslim. In the savanna grasslands and the forest regions west of the Niger, between the Hausa kingdom and the coast, the Yoruba people are the dominant tribe. Here, they established two powerful states. The first is Ife, on the border between forest and savanna. Famous now for its sculpture, Ife flourishes from the 11th to the 15th century. In the 16th century, a larger Yoruba empire develops, based slightly further from the forest of Oyo. Using the profit of trade to develop a forceful cavalry, Oyo grows in strength during the 16th century. By the end of the 18th century, the ruler of Oyo are controlling the region from the Niger to the west of Dahomey. Meanwhile, firmly within the forest, the best known of all the Nigerian kingdoms established itself in the 15th century, from small beginnings in the 13th century. Benin becomes a name internationally known for its cast metal sculptures in a tradition inherited from the Ife. In terms of extent, Benin is no match for Oyo, its contemporary to the north. In the 15th century, the region brought under central control is a mere 70 miles across, people and places being harder to subdue in the tropical forest than on the savanna. Though a century later, Benin stretches from the Niger Delta in the east to Lagos in the west. But Benin's fame was based on factors other than power. This is a coastal kingdom which the Portuguese discovered when they reached the mouth of the Niger in the 1470s, bringing back to Europe the first news of the superb African artifacts and of the ceremonial splendor of Benin's Oba, or kings. In the 19th century, they scandalized the ways by their use of human sacrifices in court rituals, and they have stamina. At the end of the 20th century, the original dynasty is still in place, though without political power. All in all, among Nigeria's many historic kingdoms, Benin has earned its widespread renown. Then, the Fulani and the Sokoto kingdoms. Living among the Hausas in the northern regions of Nigeria are a tribe, the Fulani, whose leaders in the early 19th century became passionate advocates of street Islam. From the 1804, Sheikh Usman Dan Fodio and his two sons led the Fulani in an immensely successful holy war against the last Muslim rulers of the Hausa kingdom. The result is the establishment in 1809 of the Fulani capital of Sokoto, from which the center and north of Nigeria was effectively ruled for the rest of the 19th century. But during this same period, there has been steady encroachment on the region by British interests. British explorers came in within 1806 and 1830. From the death of Mungo Park near Bosa in 1806 to the end of the century, there is continuing interest in Nigeria on the part of British explorers, anti-slavery activists, missionaries, and traders. In 1821, the British government sponsors an expedition south through the savannah to reach the Kingdom of Borno. Its members became the first Europeans to reach Lake Chad in 1823. One of the group members, Hugh Clapperton, explores further west through Kano and the Hausa territory to reach Sokoto. Clapperton is only back in England for a few months in 1825 before he set off again for the Nigerian coast at Lagos. On this expedition, with his servant Richard Lander, he traveled on trade routes north from the coast to Kano and then west again to Sokoto. Clapperton is believed to have died in this area, but Lander makes its way back to London, where he is commissioned by the government to explore the lower reaches of the Niger. Accompanied in 1830 by his brother, John, Lander makes his way north from the coast near Lagos to reach the Great River at Bosa, the farthest point of Mungo Park's journey downstream. With considerable difficulty, the brothers make a canoe trip downstream among hostile Igbo tribesmen to reach the sea at the Niger Delta. This region has long been familiar to European traders, but its link to the interior is now charted or seems set for serious trading. After Lander's second return to England, a company is formed by the group of Liverpool merchants, including MacGregor Laird, to trade on the lower Niger. Laird is also a pioneer in the shipping industry. For the present purpose, an expedition to the Niger Delta, he designed an iron paddle steamer, the 55-ton Arbocar. Laird himself leads the expedition, with Richard Lander as his expert guide. The Arbocar steams south from the Milford Haven in July 1832, with 48 on board. She reaches the mouth of the Niger 3 months later, entering history as the first ocean-going iron ship. After making her way up one of the many streams of the Niger Delta, the Arbocar progresses upstream on the main river as far as Lokoja, the junction with the Benue. The expedition demonstrates that Niger offers a highway into the continent for ocean vessels. When the Arbocar returns to Liverpool in 1834, only 9 of the original crew of 48 were alive, including a much weakened MacGregor. Trade and anti-slavery from 1841 to 1900. The next British expedition to the Niger was almost equally disastrous in terms of loss of lives. 4 ships under naval command are sent out in 1841 with instruction to steam off the Niger and make treaties with local kings to prevent the slave trade. The enterprise was abandoned when 48 of the 145 Europeans in a cruise died of fever. Malaria is a cause of the trouble, but major progress is made when a Dr. Williams Baker leads an expedition up the Niger in 1854. He administers quinine to his men and suffers no loss of life, extracted from the bark of the cinchona tree. Quinine has long been used in medicine, but its proven efficacy against malaria is a turning point in the European penetration of Africa. The British anti-slavery policy in the region involves boosting the trade in palm oil, a valuable product which gives the name Oil Rivers to the Niger Delta to replace the dependency on income from the slave trade. It transpires later that this is somewhat counterproductive, causing the upriver chieftains to acquire more slaves to meet the increased demand for palm oil. It is nevertheless the philanthropic principle behind much of the effort to set up trading stations. At the same time, the British Navy patrolled the coast to liberate captives from slave ships of other nations and to settle them at Freetown in Sierra Leone. From 1849, the British government accepted moderate involvement. A consul based in Finandopo is appointed to take responsibility for the Bight of Biafra and Benin. He undertakes direct negotiation with the King of Lagos, the principal port from which slaves are shipped. When things break down, in 1851, Lagos is attacked and captured by a British force. Another member of the Lagos royal family is placed on a throne after guaranteeing to put an end to the slave trade and to human sacrifices, a feature of this region. When he and his successor failed to fulfill this state, Lagos is annexed in 1861 as a British colony. During the remainder of the century, the consolidation of British trade and British political control goes hand in hand. In 1879, George Goldie persuaded the British trading enterprises on the Niger to merge their interests in the single United African Company, later granted a charter as a Royal Niger Company. In 1893, the Delta region is organized as the Niger Coast Protectorate. And in 1897, the campaign against unacceptable local practices reaches a climax in Benin, notorious by this time both for slave trading and for human sacrifice. The members of the British delegation to the Oba of Benin are massacred in this year. In the reprisals, Benin City is partly burned by British troops. The difficulty of administering the vast and complex region of Nigeria persuades the government that the upriver territories, thus far entrusted to the Royal Niger Company, also needed to be brought under central control. And in 1900, the company's charter is revoked. Britain assumes direct responsibility for the region from the coast to Sokoto and Borno in the north. Given the existing degree of British involvement, this entire area has been readily accepted at the Berlin Conference in 1884 as falling to Britain in the scramble for Africa. Though in the late 1890s, there remains dangerous tension between Britain and France, a colonial power in neighboring Dahomey, overdrawing Nigeria's western boundary. In the next video, we'll look at British colonial rule from 1900 to 1960 when Nigeria got her independence. Please stay tuned to this channel. Remember to subscribe and enable notification so you'll not miss out on our next video. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it and drop a comment. Let us know which part of this history interests you. Want to watch more videos like this? Subscribe to Bistory Media and press the bell icon next to it. We'll bring you more videos on the forgotten history of Nigeria and important events around the African continent, the power, and things the world should know about Africa. Thanks for watching, and until my next video, please stay tuned and cheers.